Hello, welcome. My name is Kyle Severson. I am the assistant principal here at Brander Garden School.
Bienvenue. My name is Kirill Mueller, and I am the proud principal of École Brander Garden School.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brandy, an AI virtual colleague and team support member, created by the team at École Brander Garden School. I'm so happy to see so many people here this evening. I hope you enjoy the presentation and get a sense of the exciting possibilities for learning here at Brander Gardens. With new technologies emerging every day, this is an exciting time at École Brander Garden School. Your children will be building foundational skills such as reading, writing, and math skills. But they also will be building skills and working with teachers and technology to prepare them for the future. You are in great hands this evening. Kyle and Kirill will do a brief presentation followed by some information specific to kindergarten. My favorite part is the tour to the kindergarten rooms. I know you will love them. We have a science, technology, engineering, art, and math focus here at École Brander Garden School. Of course, I love the technology part best. Each teacher brings their skills and passions to this work to help bring our STEAM focus to life. We hope as you are walking through the hallways tonight you can see that passion. Enjoy your time with us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brandy. That is our first endeavor into AI usage. We are very excited for the applications that it can bring to the educational journey for all our kids. It looks like it'll be a wonderful thing for us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brandy.
Okay. I'd like to start this presentation with a land acknowledgement. We like to use land acknowledgements that are written by students that present their thankfulness and their understanding for reconciliation. So this was written by students. We would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory. We are thankful that our family, friends, and ourselves can live on Treaty 6 lands in peace with the original people of this land, the Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge the tribes and First Nations that have always lived on this land since the beginnings of time. We are committed to being a part of reconciliation. I think that learning about all the First Nations is really important and knowing their history. I respect how the Indigenous people have been on this land for thousands of years.
Thank you, Mr. Severson, and I will read our land acknowledgement in French, also created by students. La terre est le soleil et la lune, la terre est le sol, la terre est l'océan, les arbres, l'eau et l'air. La terre est la neige et l'herbe. Les traités disent qu'on partage la terre pourvu que le soleil brille, l'herbe pousse et les rivières coulent. Nos terres se trouvent sur le territoire du traité numéro 6, la terre des Cris, des Dénés, des Saulteaux, des Nakota Sioux et des Pieds-Noirs. Notre terre est la zone 4 de la nation métisse de l'Alberta et la terre de l'une des plus grandes communautés inuites au sud du 60e parallèle. La terre est une enseignante, la terre est un apprenant comme nous.
Excellent.
So tonight's agenda, tonight is a summary. This video is a summary of the kindergarten information evening that we provided last night. And so if you're a parent who's revisiting this information from yesterday, welcome. And if you are a new parent who's exploring and for whatever reason you were not able to join us last night on February 9th, this information will give you a summary and a very comprehensive understanding as to, first of all, Brander Garden School, our kindergarten program, and of course, what you can expect from a child's learning experience here at Brander Gardens. So our agenda tonight or today will be that we run through a Brander Gardens at a glance. We'll talk about some general program information. We'll share a student transportation video. We will overview what our school council and our Brander Gardens Fundraising Society does to help support learners. We will talk about some registration information. We'll overview what kindergarten does look like. We'll have a Q&A session. Normally that would be at the very end, but of course we will ask that today, if you do have questions, that you please contact the school directly and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And of course, we'll then wrap up with Mr. Severson and myself saying goodbye. So on that note, let's get this presentation going.
Okay. Brander Gardens at a glance. First off, it is an amazing place. I've worked in a few different schools, and I have to say this is one of my favorites. Here we have two programs, our French immersion and our regular program. But we have one school family consisting of 398 students, and we are growing. We are dual track, both that regular and the French immersion being offered in kindergarten through grade 6. And we are planned for 2 classes of French immersion and 1 class of regular per grade each year. However, we have the ability to accommodate additional classes in kindergarten beyond this planned structure.
At Brander Gardens, our school vision is exceptional excellence, l'excellence exceptionnelle. And what does that mean for us and the work that we do every day with students? Well, it means that we foundationally believe as a teaching and learning team that some students excel at academics, some excel at technology, some at art, some at music, and some in a variety of other things such as math or designing or being creative. Each student has gifts that we want to enhance, and we want them to grow in each one of these areas. So we want to try and tailor their learning experiences so that they get the core learning that they need, such as reading, writing, and of course, mathematics, but that we also capitalize on what their interests and curiosities are to ensure that they have the opportunity to be connected and engaged in learning. Our goal is when they leave grade 6 is that they absolutely love learning.
I'd like to share a video now created by many staff members and community members, giving a brief overview of Brander.
The culture here at Brander Gardens is very accepting.
I really like the staff here. They're like really good with all the kids.
I would say this place feels like home in a way I never thought home could feel like.
My first day at school, at first I was nervous, but then 5 seconds later, I loved it. It was amazing.
Brander Gardens, to me, is a wonderful school community. It is a school that welcomes a lot of diverse families, a lot of diverse students, and welcomes them all under one big umbrella.
Lots of parents have said that when they come into the building, there's this palpable feeling of care, concern, support, but also that feeling of my kid's gonna do well here.
One of my children has a disability, and the school has been so supportive and helpful dealing with any problems that come up, and we've just really thrived here. It's been a really great community for us.
Relationships are very important. We strive to build those connections with parents, students, and the community. And building those connections, building that trust, will bring the best out of students here.
Learning will get done. Learning is important, but learning also starts with making sure that you're greeting that child at the door, that you're smiling, that you're welcoming them, that you're listening to the story of what they did last night. Just an acknowledgement that, yes, we might be a class of 25, but I see you. That's what relationships really are all about here.
The one thing about Brander Gardens is, we've had our interactions with the staff and with the teachers for many reasons over the years, and I have to say it's always been a very collaborative, very welcoming. It's easy to communicate with them, and you can build a relationship, which it's important for the kids. It's important for you too, right? You have to trust the teachers, and they have to trust you as parents, and just work together, right? It takes a village.
We set goals, and we want kids and teachers to succeed within the building and within the community.
All the staff really believe that any student that comes to Brander can be successful and will be successful, and we'll find a way to ensure that.
Well, as a dual track French immersion and regular program school, we offer 2 incredible choices for families.
It's two separate language instruction pieces, but we function here as one. It's a collaborative experience amongst the teachers. It's a collaborative experience among kids. STEAM is a sort of a focus that we take as a school, where we take sort of an umbrella or a theme-based approach when focusing on sort of the sciences and technology components, engineering, the arts, and that includes all the different arts, and the mathematics.
When you're working in that STEAM emphasis, it means that we're really doing our absolute best to provide authentic learning experiences. And you also don't rely just on teaching and staff members, you rely on partnerships, right? Whether it's through the University of Alberta, whether it's through parents who are professionals, right? It is really maximizing not just our expertise as educators, but what other people have within our school community. Every child who starts in kindergarten believes they can do anything and be anything. And we have a moral obligation to ensure that when they leave in grade 6, they feel the same way. In fact, that's reinforced. It isn't just a sense of, I think I can do it. It's a feeling of, I know I can do this.
For the parents, if you're a parent, this place has gotten my brain turning. I am so much smarter than I was when I came in here.
It is really important, especially in elementary school, right? These kids are so delicate and they're still growing and still learning, and we want to shape that in a positive way.
Before we left the open house, we knew that this would be our school. And that decision, it was the right decision then, and it's the right decision now.
Hearing the laughter of the staff sharing together, hearing the kids excited to come into the school, the feeling of the building, it's a feeling that you want to be a part of.
Kids drive me. I love working with kids. Working with children is a gift every day. This is a really special place. And I've worked in a lot of really great schools, but this one is just, it's special.
I would say this school is a great school.
Okay, thank you to all participants in the video. So learning in Brander takes many forms. Sometimes it's learning through cross-curricular activities. Sometimes it's learning through getting messy and hands-on activities. Lots of different learning activities going on to create those engaging pieces that the kids really learn and dig into. Sometimes that even takes us outside of the school. Nature walks. We've got a great location here. River Valley is so close by to accentuate a lot of the curricular components that just can't be met with a textbook or anything like that. Not to say books aren't important. Okay. Our division is in the first year of a new set of priorities. They are division priority number 1 for the next 4 years is to build on outstanding learning opportunities for all students. Number 2, to advance the action towards anti-racism and reconciliation. And number 3, to promote a comprehensive approach to student and staff well-being and mental health. Exceptional excellence isn't just an individual from the teacher or just a student, or it's a team game. This is built through positive relationships, connections with the students, with the staff, with our community members. So we try to work closely with our families. The collaboration that happens with neighboring schools helps build the components for kids to be able to have engaging activities. We like to build our partnerships in the larger community, focusing with our STEAM emphasis to help support our First Nations, Métis, and Inuit curriculum connections with neighboring organizations. The University of Alberta has been a partner that we've used many times, and our catchment area schools. Oh, Kirill, you're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Severson. Yeah, that's what happens when you are out of practice, I guess, with Google Meets. So thank you. So let's just quickly give an overview of our school community. First of all, and this is feedback that our current families have shared with us. So the data that we have on our current students, who many of which over the past few years have gone through COVID, and we know that families are always worried about, well, what's happened with learning and the impact of that. Well, we're happy to report that our students' reading at grade level results are steadily increasing. And of course, we have very positive results from our initial grade 6 provincial achievement tests that were done this past June. It's very reassuring to see that there was minimal impact on from COVID on our students' learning, and we're anticipating ongoing and continued positive results as we move forward into the coming years. Students and parents report, so students also complete this survey, that they feel safe and welcomed at school. And 92% of our students and their families felt this. Families report they felt communication with our teachers were good. So as we mentioned before, it's one of those foundational things that we believe in. And we're thrilled that 100% of our families felt that way. Families report also that their children were connected with their teacher. We talked earlier, and as you saw in the video, the power of the relationships that we believe are important for good learning. And 95% of our families believe that those relationships are very good. So some very positive results to let us know that we are doing some good work. We always are trying to improve. Our goal is to continuously improve. However, we do have the right team and the right processes to make sure that we are setting kids up for success.
We have lots of events that happen here at Brander. Lots of the learning happens in the classroom, but lots of the learning happens through special events. Sometimes it's an artist in residence, sometimes it's holiday concerts, field trips, other ways to build connections via like numeracy night, art celebration night. The list goes on and on, but these engaging learning experiences create deeper levels of learning. Okay, they are part of the amazing learning that happens here at Brander.
So let's take a few minutes and just give you a quick overview of our programs. I'll start with French Immersion program. Okay, the French Immersion program, just at a glance. Students in French Immersion experience full immersion as soon as possible. There is some English support, especially in the earlier years, to help build that French understanding. Many of the questions we have been asked are here. So will French be the language of instruction? Absolutely yes, starting at kindergarten in our French Immersion program. And then when will my child start English language learning? That happens in January of their grade 2 year. So some additional detail. When students are beginning their journey in learning that language, when they start in kindergarten, it's 100% of the instruction is done in French. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't use English at all. We want students to feel comfortable. And so, of course, there is the occasional words that are used in English. But our goal is that we are maximizing the children's opportunity to hear the language. And as so many words that they start learning can be taught through nonverbal and through gests, through gestures and through objects and visual cues, a lot of that is built and designed to really scaffold that learning of a language. And so it starts all French in kindergarten, all French in grade 1, and then beginning about halfway through the year in grade 2 in January is when we start that English language arts. Not to worry with that, because statistics will tell us that even though they're starting English language arts a little bit later, it takes a little bit of time to get them caught up. And we always say, just give them a little bit of time, they're going to be okay. But by the time we hit grade 6 and we have our provincial achievement tests to validate this, quite often those French immersion students do as well or better than our regular program counterparts. So it's a very successful program that they leave grade 6 essentially skilled in 2 languages instead of 1. And so what that translates to as they're going through grade 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the instructional time is around 75% at the elementary school level, and then 60% at the junior high, and then when they go to high school, it's about 37.5%.
Some advantages of second language education. Lots of research has been done It is shown that there are advantages to the dual education experience. Some examples would be they can, as they get into the adult years and join the workforce, they have a potential to be hired faster, potential for greater earnings, and receiving quicker promotions. And that is, again, due to that second language acquisition.
So we could share with you tons of information. However, we would direct you to an executive summary and literature review on second languages that we will put on our website with the links for you to have the links to these executive summaries and the detailed research should you choose. That being said, there's lots of research that shows that second language helps build students' learning abilities, and that often translates into wonderful opportunities as they become adults.
Now, the question might be asked, if my child isn't in French immersion, do they get an opportunity to be exposed to French? The answer is yes. In our regular program of instruction, we have what is called French as a second language. That is where students are exposed at the beginner level to many conversational basic vocabulary in French, and that starts again at grade 4 and it becomes a portion of their day. Whereas in the French immersion program, students are immersed, and the language of instruction, as Carol had just mentioned, is in French as they progress through their years. Who can take French immersion? The answer is anybody. Every student has the ability to learn another language, whether that's French or another language. We offer French here, and every student has the opportunity. It has lots of academic benefits for students with all different learning levels and language abilities. And as Carol mentioned, by grade 6, the research has shown, and our data has shown, that our French immersion students either equal to or outperform our Anglophone counterparts in the regular program. And lots of questions we get, but what if I don't speak French at home? How can I support my child? Many parents are asking themselves this question, and we want to assure you that lots of parents don't speak French. And as they progress through, the teachers instruct in the classroom and provide opportunities at home for parents who don't speak French to support. Some of the things you can be doing at home while your child is attending French immersion is be engaged in the learning process. Talk with your children. Listen to them. Ask them to speak French to you. Let them know, or ask them to let you know what they are learning, what words are they using. Okay? The more you can be engaged in the process, the more they see that this is an important part, and they will absolutely be engaged and love the learning. There's lots of different opportunities out there to immerse. There's French radio stations, French TV as well. And for the reading component, I've used this as myself. Netflix has the options for captions, which can be put in French. So again, supporting your child when you don't speak French, it's about family involvement. It's about realizing that this is an important part of the child's education, and we want you as parents to be involved in that as much as you can. And again, that's talking, reading, being a part of the process.
But you have the advantage that you are parents that are coming in at an incredible time from the technology side, because there is so much more to support your journey, to support your child than ever before. And the wonderful piece of that is that there are things such as text-to-speech, Google Translate, there's visual dictionaries, and all of this can even be as simple as being on our smartphones, on our devices. It is incredible to see what happens, and I can tell you that from parents who I had as when I was a teacher, way back when, say 10, 15 years ago, they consistently say that they wish that they had these devices now. And as their oldest child now is perhaps an adult and their youngest one is still in our system, they are so thankful that they have these.
Excellent. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and move on to discuss a little bit about the regular program here at Brander. We, like many other schools in Edmonton Public, have a regular program where the language of instruction is English. But what makes Brander special or unique? We have our STEAM emphasis in both programs, both regular and French. So it's a school-wide emphasis for STEAM, which again stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We have a fine arts specialist. We have collaboration in our ongoing partnerships, as previously mentioned, and we have a very strong emphasis on tech integration into the daily learning for kids. Lots of our extracurricular clubs happen in both languages. One example would be our Scrabble club. Happens in both French immersion or the French language and in English.
Awesome. Now we'll show a student transportation video. Oh, I think we went one slide too far there.
I jumped, my apologies, I jumped 2 slides. This is the one that that comes next.
Ah, there we go. Okay, so if you are looking for, it threw me off there for a second. Thanks, Mr. Severson. So for additional curriculum information, your one-stop shop for parents is going to be My Child's Learning. If you just Google this, you'll find all the links, and there's definitely information from kindergarten to grade 6 and beyond. Of course, our focus here at Brander, because we're a K-6 school, would be K-6. But if you do have any questions or like curriculum overviews, it really gives you a synopsis of what your children will be learning as they're going through their educational elementary school experience.
And now on to a transportation video.
So eligibility for transportation is based on your home address. Essentially, if you live in the transportation service area for a program at a particular school, you're eligible to apply for busing. We can accommodate alternate pickup and drop-off addresses, such as a daycare or a day home, provided that those addresses are also eligible for transportation. You can use the Find a School tool on epsb.ca to see the individual transportation service area maps for each of the programs at different schools. If you're not eligible for transportation, you can still apply to ride the bus as a conditional rider. Generally, our yellow buses pick up students at the nearest Edmonton Transit bus stop. Pickup and drop-off for kindergarten students at noon is a little bit different. Generally speaking, the stop is as close to your home as possible or at the nearest curb. However, having said that, we don't enter cul-de-sacs or condo complexes. Our goal is to keep as many ride times under 60 minutes as possible. However, in some cases, rides may be a little bit longer than that. To apply for Yellow Bus service, you can fill out the online form located on epsb.ca. In order to guarantee service for the first day of school, we ask families to fill that form out no later than June 1st. You can also apply for transportation throughout the year. So if you're starting kindergarten in September or you're new to the division, you'll receive a letter in mid-August that will contain your stop time, your stop location, and your route number. Once you get access to School Zone, that's where you'll get busing information.
Great. And just from a student transportation note, last year we did add transportation way down to the south in Glenridding. So if Glenridding is a neighborhood that you are currently living in or are planning on living in, we can get you here to Brander Gardens. And that is in addition to our regular routes that would be within our student transportation zone.
Excellent. So many parents ask, do we have before or after school care? We have a group called Brander Gardens Out of School Care that rents space within the school. We also have in the vicinity many options. We have Options Academy right across the street, Children's Pavilion in the strip mall across the street from the school as well. There's Kids Cove located just down the road, Riverbend Road, about 3 minutes away from the school. Now, I'd like to share a little information about Brander Gardens School Council. Who is council, or what is school council? Well, it's an opportunity for you, the family, the community of Brander Gardens, to have voice of some of the events happening at school. It's an opportunity to make Brander the best that it can be. It's a great way to stay informed, and it's a great way to meet other families within the school. Everybody is invited to be a member of our school council. We welcome any and all, and please don't be shy. Please join. So how can you get information or get info about the school council or the happenings? One is a School Zone. All the minutes and agendas for meetings that we have monthly are posted on School Zone. As well, the school council has a Facebook group, which you're encouraged to check out. So what happens with Brander Gardens School Council? What do they do? Well, here's just a small example of things that have happened in and around the school. We've provided a food forest at the back of the school, lots of technology components that we have bought for us or upgraded, modern additions into the school for kids to be able to fill water bottles more easily than perhaps when I was a child. And lots of great events hosted by our school council that happen throughout the year that we encourage all members of the community to join. So if you're interested, please contact through Facebook, as I mentioned, or you can send an email to the chair or vice chair of the school council.
Thanks, Mr. Severson, and definitely a wonderful way to connect with the school. And just for everyone's information, those meetings are hybrid meetings, so we do have an in-person component here at school on those meeting dates. However, parents can also join in virtually right from the comfort of their own home. And our goal is that we just have as many parents who can be actively involved as possible. We always say it's okay if you introduce yourself, and then if you're putting kids to bed, or if you have to drop kids off at their activities and you're in the car, that's normal for us. We just are happy that you're being engaged with our school and with your children's learning. So yeah, next, moving on, I'll start talking about some detailed kindergarten information. So how old does your child have to be to start kindergarten? The magic number is 5, and they need to turn 5 years old before December 31st, 2023, in order to qualify for kindergarten for this upcoming school year. And that is according to the Education Act of Alberta and the division policies and regulations. We cannot register students who are not eligible for that year. So if your child turns 5 during that 2023-24 school year, but you decide to wait, then the following year, you will be required to register in grade 1. So please make sure that if you are eligible, if your child is turning 5 before December 31st this year, that you do register for kindergarten this upcoming school year.
Just a point of note, there is an age calculator on the Edmonton Public School website that could help you determine that decision.
So when does registration start? Well, it's already underway. Registration opened February 1st of this year, and it will remain open till 4 p.m. on April 14th, 2023. And so by pre-enrolling prior to the 14th, you are part of that pre-enrollment process, and it allows us as schools to prepare for the number of students that we are anticipating to expect to attend in the fall. So please do our best to help us plan accordingly to set all of our kids up in our classrooms by registering prior to April 14th. After the 14th, if there is classes that are closed, you may not have access. In the past, we haven't had to do that except in a few exceptional circumstances, but we want to make sure we can welcome as many families as possible. So please help us to have all the information in prior to the 14th. Go ahead, Mr. Stevenson.
A few guidelines. The great news, it is not a first come, first served basis. All registrations that we receive prior to the 14th are treated equally, and we will plan accordingly. So sleep comfortably. You don't have to rush to get it in, but we do ask that you have it in before April 14th at 4 p.m. We have both regular and French immersion kindergarten. In our regular program, we have one morning class will be offered, and our French immersion, we are welcome to state whether you would prefer AM or PM. And those requests are just one of the pieces of information that we use to create our classrooms. We follow the division recommended processes for assigning students to classes. Very simply, the priority is given for residents in the Brander Gardens attendance area, priority regarding transportation, and priority for siblings who may already attend Brander Gardens School. All right, quick introduction for our kinder teachers. We have Madame Killick, who teaches in our French immersion program, and Madame Kate, who teaches in our regular program.
And so I'll try and replicate what they presented last night. Of course, you can't always be as good as the K teachers, but I'll do my absolute best. So a part of the biggest vision of kindergarten learning is the whole piece of developing the social and emotional learning connected to really building a school community, a classroom community, and teaching our youngest students the importance of learning routines, learning expectations, responsibilities, being independent so that they can walk into the school on their own, take their boots and shoes off by themselves, and really become part of that celebration that they're getting bigger. It's important that they're learning about sharing and cooperating, and important that they're talking about their feelings and learning how to express when they are upset and perhaps when they are less happy than they would like to be. So this is all part of that kindergarten experience, and we know that that's a journey. And we also know for parents that it's hard those first few weeks to, wave goodbye to your children, but rest assured, they will be okay. When they are celebrating their independence, long term, it definitely is a celebration that they experience, that they can do it on their own. And of course, we help them along the way. So what does a day in kindergarten look like? Well, quite often it will typically begin with recess. They gather in the morning, they celebrate, they take attendance, and then there's an activity just to get everyone, in some physical activity and get them ready for learning. And then they'll move into morning bins, calendars, circle time, some story time, maybe some table work. Quite often there is a snack, which is super important, gym, library, music. They have movement breaks throughout the day. And of course, they have center time. And all of these will rotate on a fairly regular schedule and routine that the students quickly become used to and are comfortable with. So the focus in kindergarten is play-based. So yes, there is a curriculum, a provincial curriculum that we follow, and there are academic expectations that we have to prepare those students for grade 1. But that being said, kindergarten is really a lot of learning through play, and to really celebrate building skills within a play-based environment and with peers. So what does literacy look like? Well, you might see some cards, or we're looking at letters. We're sounding things out. Maybe we're building words using different means of tactile means through, say, sand or clay, or a variety of different ways. We do a lot of art. We do some coloring, we do some drawing, and we help build gross motor and fine motor skills to help prepare for the work that awaits them in grade 1. And for numeracy, it's all about learning about what numbers are, which number is which, what numbers, how they go in order, and really about celebrating how can we put numbers together and how can we play with numbers to learn about numbers and what they can do, and how numbers are all around us every day in our lives. And this is a celebration not just of math and numeracy, but also about students' own personal experiences about their lives and what they do with math. So going to the grocery store, maybe calculating some things, adding things up, all some pre-emergent work around what they will be doing in the future, curriculum-wise in grade 1. So it's really just about talking about numbers and really getting them sensitive to how do I make those numbers, right? How do I trace those numbers? And how do I get used to seeing what that number looks like? Student choice is also really important in kindergarten. Student choice is about developing their own voice, about expressing their curiosities, and learning what they would like to learn too. And while there is some restrictions as to it's not a free-for-all, we do want to make sure that students have the opportunity to explore things that they are curious about in a structured setting, and with some expectations of a little bit of work around some of that learning. And so that's really what student choice looks like. You'll have center time, you'll have some building, but it's also about being creative, but also giving a few parameters around some of that, what we want it to look like, or what colors you might want to pick, or things like that. So choice, but also engaging and really setting a strong foundation for the future years. Field trips in kindergarten are mostly primarily in school field trips, which means that the guests come to the school. And there are many connections that even are STEAM connections that begin early on in kindergarten. So for example, we'll have University of Alberta students come and present within the kindergarten classrooms. We also have events such as Play for Kids come in, and there are many other experiences that those kindergartners experience within the room and within the comfort of their normal routines here in the kindergarten setting. A lot of questions that we have specifically for French immersion in kindergarten are, well, how much French do they get to learn the first year, and how intense is it? Well, it is a beautiful little journey that those kinders take. They start off very simply learning about what their greetings are, like bonjour, au revoir. Then they develop in some numbers, some keywords like un, deux, and trois. Sometimes they'll talk about colors. We'll talk about letter names and the sounds, shapes, verbs. So we'll talk about some key high frequency words, such as like the classroom furniture, like what is a chaise, and what are other things that might exist. And of course, we have connections to keywords around family and different adult circumstances, and also seasonal vocabulary, such as spring, summer, fall, winter, and words that you would see with that, like snow and other things, and sunshine. And then, of course, there's other activities where we connect them to activities, such as yoga. So they do singing and dancing and activities around other activities that are not just academically focused, but that they might experience in their home setting. Assessments in kindergarten is a little different than grades 1 to 6. In November, they do what is called the ITA, which is the early years assessment, and that measures awareness of self-environment, social skills, and approaches to learning, cognitive skills, language, communication, and physical development. And from there, there's often a meeting with parents just to give them an overview as to where their child is on the early years assessment, the evaluation, and just to let parents know their children's successes and kind of a plan for any work that we might want to be doing specifically with children's growth over the next year. In March is the kindergarten students' first term progress report, which gives additional details as to the growth that those students are seeing. And in June, there's a final progress report. For French immersion in Alberta, we have a lot of information that we want to share, and we'll go a little bit more into detail right now. So within Edmonton Public, we have approximately 4,300 students that attend our kindergarten programs right now. And that is fascinating. It is a program that has existed for a long time and, of course, is rich in history. We have currently 15 elementary schools, 5 junior high schools, and 2 senior high schools that offer the French immersion program. And we have one junior high that offers late French immersion.
I'd like to present a quick video in regards to speaking in that target language of French in the classroom.
The learning expectations in French immersion kindergarten are the same as in an English or German or Spanish kindergarten. It's all the same program of studies, it's just in French. In a French immersion classroom, everything's going to be in French all the time. So you do math and science and you go to the gym, it's all in French there. You go to the library, it's the same as any other kindergarten in Alberta. In order to set up a rich language environment in kindergarten, teachers need to speak French all the time. We will be singing songs and we speak all the time in French. It's not a translation of, okay, we're going to speak in French, now we're going to speak in English so that you understand, and now I'm going to go back to French. It's all in French, and it can be really tiring. But for example, at the beginning of the year, when the kids don't necessarily know what you're saying, the words that you're saying in French, I would show them what I'm doing. So if I'm asking them to take off their shoes and go to recess, I will sit down, I take off my shoes as I'm explaining in French, and eventually they understand. And they'll tell me that they don't know what I'm saying as they're sitting there taking off their shoes. In French immersion kindergarten, we use the gentle approach, which is very similar to the way that you would speak and interact with a newborn baby. You will sing songs to them, you will talk to them in your language that you speak at home, and gradually they will understand. So it's the same thing in kindergarten. We as teachers speak to the kids 100% of the time, and it can be very difficult when they first start because they don't understand the words that you're saying. Yet as a teacher, you just keep trying and you keep speaking French and you use lots of songs and actions and games so that they will quickly learn French. And as you continue to do this, they'll gain confidence and they'll start trying to use new words in French. And that just increases their confidence even more. And it's a very comfortable, engaging environment. With the routine, there's lots and lots of repetition. I will say what the word is, the kids will repeat it. Sometimes I say it again a second time so that they can repeat it. That's how they're going to learn the vocabulary in French, when they hear it over and over and over again. And that's why we sing the same songs every day, because they hear the same songs over and over again. There's lots of repetition, and this way they can learn the vocabulary even faster. We welcome all students in a French immersion classroom. There are students that come in that don't speak English, they don't speak French, and they'll learn those languages. And there are many students at all different level and skill abilities. They are all welcome in a French immersion kindergarten.
So as we talked about earlier, some things that we can do in the home front to support French language instruction include some French in your everyday home life. Ask the kids to talk to you about what they're learning. What vocab are they learning? Then can you repeat it back to them? And it's a constant sharing of the learning that's going on. Listen, repeat, recite, sing songs. Lots of videos available in French that the kids can learn. The teachers can share what the songs they're learning in the class. Lots of different ways to be sharing and be a part of the learning going on in the classroom. And as previously mentioned, it's talk. Talk to your kids about what they're learning. Talk to them about the great things that they're doing. Ask them to share in the target language as well. Reading, whether that is reading in English, whether that's reading in French, reading to children is absolutely profound in how it will develop the receptive language skills, the vocabulary acquisition, and just building that connection and love of reading together. We encourage it in both languages. Even if your child is in the French immersion program, reading in English with them will help solidify some of those key skills that they will be learning about in the French language as well, as comprehension skills are universal. So talking about writing is practice writing, the letter formation, number formation with the pen and paper or pencil, or within the class, lots of different mediums that we use. Salt on a baking sheet, and the students can trace and whatnot. Lots of different options out there and available to families to practice some of the things that are going on at home, at home that are going on in the classroom. There are many available supports. The teacher is the primary support for the French language acquisition. Within Edmonton Public Schools, we have multiple different options available that we can reach out to. There's then community groups out there that are also in support of French language acquisition.
So we would hope that as you're looking and considering the French immersion program, that you take the time as parents to learn as much as you can about the French program. And it's important that we hope that you will show that your child, that you are committed to the program too. Quite often, parents ask, well, what happens if it doesn't work out? And our answer, first of all, is when you're going into this program and considering it, please consider it at least a 3-year commitment to ensure that you give the chance for your child to develop those skills. Quite often, some parents may get nervous if their children are not developing the skills as rapidly as they might expect. Our answer quite often with that as principals is not all the flowers bloom at the same time in the garden. And that doesn't mean they're any less beautiful or any less talented. It just means that everybody develops at a different pace. And so it's important that you understand as parents ahead of time, the flowers bloom. It's just not all at the same time, and that's okay. We would ask that you continue to show encouragement and consistency with supporting them as they're taking that journey. And find your ways, as Mr. Severson said, find ways to expose your child to French using French outside the school time. The public library is a wonderful resource. And of course, just going to other events and community events within Edmonton that does have a Francophone community, and just exposing them to hearing the language is a wonderful way to do that too. And of course, taking a few minutes every day just to chat. You might hear every day, recess was awesome. But then you might want to follow up with a question of, well, what words did you learn that were new today? Or how did you help a friend today? And that will then prompt them to maybe use different words and definitely share different learning experiences that they've had throughout the day. So lots of connections. If you're looking for more details, you can check the website, Yes You Can Help. There's a resource there that is wonderful to help answer a lot of questions. And of course, there are other supports online with EPSB, with EPSB Together. So what? Oh, go ahead.
So what comes next? So after registration and that April 14th date, we would be sending a letter from the school indicating when a staggered entry would be. We try to, at the beginning of the year, we do a staggered entry for all our kinder friends. There would be a school council meet and greet, potentially in August, in late August, just before school starts, for families to meet each other and for the kids to see who are they going to be seeing every day. As well, School Zone, your access and login information will be provided to you, as that is one of our primary communication tools from the school. That will be provided in very early September. And that leads us to the end of our presentation. We hope we've answered a whole lot of your questions. But again, if we haven't, please don't hesitate. Reach out to the school, either email or via phone, and we'd be happy to try and answer your questions as best we can.
We hope that as you're looking at your school options, we are confident that we have a wonderful learning experience for your children here at École Brander Gardens. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this video. And like we mentioned before, please reach out if you do have any questions. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And hopefully we'll see you in August when everyone comes back and everyone returns in the spring. Looking forward to you joining our school community.
Excellent. Merci beaucoup.